As Turning Point USA, they have a new leader, but a familiar name, that being Erika Kirk. As I want.
He was so direct. He was so clear. I want to date you with the intention of marrying you. He didn't want to waste his time. He didn't want to waste mine.
What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband?
Charlie Kirk's sister just dropped a bombshell, allegedly revealing that before his death, Charlie told her about Erika that he doesn't even feel like he knows her anymore. That message could change everything we thought we knew. From Erika's strange rise to power, her family's alleged military ties, and suspicions of political interference after Charlie's death, the deeper you look, the darker it gets. Stay tuned, because this might be the twist that exposes what really happened behind the scenes. Something about this story doesn't add up. What looked like a perfect love story between Charlie and Erika Kirk might actually be a carefully crafted operation, one built on power, timing, and manipulation.
Outside of wearing a suit, outside of work-related events, and he just was amazing.
If you really loved him, then you shouldn't do this, okay? Because a tragedy just happened.
Charlie's romance with Erika started during what was described as a job interview turned date. They married fast, building the image of a faith-filled political couple, but then Erika admitted she had seen Charlie before, on a spiritual pilgrimage in Israel. That detail flipped everything. But listen to this. If Erika knew Charlie beforehand, their first meeting might have been staged. That's where the so-called honeypot theory comes in, claiming Erika was placed in Charlie's life to influence his choices and eventually his legacy. And it gets worse. After Charlie's sudden death, reports surfaced that documents naming Erika as his successor were prepared before his memorial. To some, it felt like a transition that happened too perfectly, almost rehearsed. But here's where it gets even stranger. In interviews, Erika often said, "Nothing is by coincidence." Her quick rise in influence after Charlie's death left people wondering if it was destiny or design. Because once you line up the timing, the marriage, and the aftermath, it starts to look like a political thriller disguised as a love story. Something shifted inside Turning Point USA long before the tragedy struck.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD. And vice versa.
And the people closest to it say they saw it coming. Former insiders now claim that Charlie Kirk's final months were marked by tension, paranoia, and power moves that no one could explain, all centered around one person, Erika Kirk. According to those who worked behind the scenes, Erika began behaving like a CEO even before Charlie's death. She reportedly issued orders, rearranged teams, and demanded access to sensitive files she technically had no clearance for. Some say she replaced longtime staffers with her own loyal circle, all while presenting it as organizational restructuring. What raised eyebrows wasn't just the speed of these moves, but how confidently she made them, as if she already knew what was coming next. But that's not all. It gets worse. Around the same time, Charlie was reportedly in conflict with several high-profile donors. Insiders describe him as increasingly isolated, frustrated, and vocal about feeling manipulated by people within his own organization. He allegedly confided to close allies that he no longer recognized the team around him, that decisions were being made above his head. Whether coincidence or coordination, these changes seem to set the stage for something far bigger than anyone realized, and then everything changed. When Charlie died, Erika's rise to CEO was almost instant. No public board vote, no visible transition period, just a sudden announcement that left many stunned. The speed and silence of it made it feel to some like a move that had been pre-planned. Insiders say it did feel like a reaction to tragedy, but an execution of strategy. But listen to this. Her public behavior made the rumors even louder. At Charlie's memorial, witnesses say Erika appeared unusually upbeat and media-ready, posing for photos and speaking with polished confidence. For many, the tone felt out of place, almost rehearsed. Even more unsettling, Charlie's own mother, Mary, and parts of his family didn't attend the main Arizona service hosted by Erika. That absence spoke volumes. It left supporters wondering if there was more tension behind the scenes than anyone was willing to admit. The deeper people dig into Erika Kirk's background, the more unsettling the connections become. What started as a love story and political partnership is now being reframed as something far more calculated. And it begins not with Erika herself, but with her family. Investigators and online researchers began noticing patterns in Erika's family history that don't match the public narrative. Her mother, Lori, was long portrayed as a hardworking single mom who raised Erika on faith and perseverance. But according to business filings and leaked documents, Lori co-founded companies like AZ Tech International and GTK Industries, both tied to U.S. defense contracts through the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. These aren't small-time ventures. They deal with technologies often linked to surveillance, communications, and logistics, all areas with crossover into intelligence operations. But listen to this. Erika's father, Ken, someone she's rarely, if ever, mentioned publicly, was allegedly connected to these same filings. That detail throws her entire backstory into question. The idea of Erika being raised by a single mom might have been a crafted image, one designed to humanize her while quietly distancing her from a more complicated and potentially powerful network. Those digging into the documents say it looks less like coincidence and more like a controlled narrative, one that keeps her family's real affiliations out of the spotlight. And it gets darker. Another piece of the puzzle is the Romanian Angels nonprofit, an organization Erika promoted as a humanitarian mission. On paper, it focused on helping orphans and rebuilding efforts overseas. But critics point out that many of its operations reportedly took place near active or recently decommissioned military zones. Some now claim the charity might have been serving dual purposes: humanitarian aid on the surface, intelligence gathering behind the scenes. Whether true or not, the optics alone raise serious questions about what was really going on. But here's where things really start to shift. After years of being the public face of Romanian Angels, Lori suddenly vanished from all its branding and online records. No announcements, no explanation, just gone. Supporters brushed it off as retirement, but to skeptics, it looked like a cleanup operation. Removing her name could have been a way to erase paper trails or distance the family from whatever was happening behind the curtain. When you combine that with the defense connections, intelligence ties, and inconsistencies in Erika's personal story, a disturbing pattern emerges. One where love, politics, and power might have all been tools in a much larger game. By the time the pieces are put together, the power shifts, the hidden family ties, and the strange behavior, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Was Charlie Kirk's downfall an accident or an inside job? As more information surfaces, online investigators and former insiders have started drawing connections that paint a deeply unsettling picture. Alleged leaked messages show Charlie expressing confusion and emotional distress in his final weeks. He reportedly told close confidants that he no longer recognized his own wife, a chilling statement that many now see as a red flag. Even more concerning, he was allegedly branded an anti-Semite by people within his own circle, a label that seemed to isolate him from longtime allies. To some, it looks like a deliberate campaign to discredit and corner him. But listen to this. The story doesn't end there. The weeks leading up to his death were marked by mounting tension inside Turning Point USA. Those close to the organization describe frantic meetings, canceled appearances, and an atmosphere of fear. Then, after his sudden passing, the way everything was handled felt too controlled. Rumors spread that certain political figures, including J.D. Vance, may have stepped in before a full medical review could even take place. The suggestion that there was interference at that level has only deepened public suspicion. And it gets darker. Observers point out how quickly the narrative surrounding Charlie's death was locked in. Official statements were vague, timelines didn't match, and those who asked questions found themselves silenced or ignored. The organization moved forward as if nothing had happened. But online, people were connecting dots faster than ever. They noticed patterns, inconsistencies, and names that kept reappearing, all circling back to the same people who benefited most from Charlie's absence. But that's not all. What happens next could be even bigger. Whatever you believe about Charlie Kirk's story, one thing's clear: too many details don't add up. The sudden power shifts, the missing records, the family tension, the leaked messages, it all feels less like coincidence and more like coordination. And the most chilling part? Every time someone tries to move on, new evidence pulls the story right back into the spotlight. Maybe the truth is still buried under layers of influence and silence, or maybe it's already hiding in plain sight. Either way, this story is far from over. Stay alert, keep questioning, and don't take the official version at face value, because what's already come out might just be the beginning of something much bigger.